Welcome back. You're on Fundo Academy and we are continuing on our mathematics course. Now we are going on to how we can convert decimals to fractions, and we have an example just to illustrate how we do that. And in our example, required is for us to express the following decimals as fractions. So on part A we've got 0.78, on part B we've got 0.125, and on part C we've got 13.35. Now I know that you may already have an idea of how we can express a decimal as a fraction. So what I want you to do right here is I want you to start working on these three problems, and you're gonna pause this video and start working on them and then play it back afterwards so that you can also check out my solution. Alright, so this is my solution. I'm starting with part A, and on part A we've got 0.78. Alright, so there could be different methods to expressing a decimal to a fraction, some very short, some very easy ones, but the one that I'm going to show you here is one that I believe that is more clearer and more straightforward. So with our 0.78, you ask yourself, which multiple of 10 should I multiply 0.78 with to make it a whole number? What is the smallest multiple of 10 that I should multiply 0.78 with to make it a whole number? Remember, multiplying a decimal by 10 will cause the decimal point to move one decimal place to the right, and multiplying a decimal by 100 will cause the decimal point to move 2 decimal places again to the right, going on like that. Okay, so here I'm saying that the smallest multiple of 10 that I can multiply 0.78 with should be one that will cause the decimal point to move from here to here. So it will move how many times? 2 decimal places. Alright, so that should be 100, and that will make 0.78 to become 78. So I'm gonna multiply 0.78 by 100. If I multiply 0.78 by 100 now, this will make 0.78 to become 78, but now it has lost its value because it's no longer 0.78, which is not undesirable. So what I then do is, instead of me really multiplying by 100, I'd rather multiply by 100 over 100, so that it still maintains its value. It still is 0.78, because 100 over 100 is 1, and any number multiplied by 1 still remains with its value. Alright, so you see shortly why I'm doing this. So what I do next is I now multiply 0.78 by the 100 numerator right there. So I'm now multiplying 0.78 by 100, and what I'll be getting there is 78, and it will be 78 over this 100, so it's 78 over 100, like that. And now I have a simple proper fraction that can be reduced to lowest terms. So to reduce to lowest term, you just ask yourself which what could possibly be the highest common factor for 78 and 100. And right here I'm thinking of dividing by 2 over 2, so that if I divide 78 by 2, then I'll be getting 39, and if I divide 100 by 2, then I'll be getting 50. So what that means would be that reduced to lowest terms, I would be having 39 over 50, and this now is the solution to part A. That is the decimal expressed now as a fraction, right? Okay, let's see on part B if we can do the same, maybe more quickly, because this should not take us much time. So on part B we've got 0.125. With 0.125, I'm asking myself, what should I multiply 0.125 with to make it a whole number? What is the smallest multiple of 10 that I should multiply with? So I'm saying here that to make it a whole number, I have to multiply by a multiple of 10 that will cause the decimal point to move 3 decimal places to the right, so that it becomes 125, and that is 1000, isn't it? So it has to be 1000 over 1000, so that if I am to multiply 0.125 with this 1000, then it becomes 125. So I'll be having 125 on the numerator, and it will be divided by the 1000 that is on the denominator right here. And now I can reduce this to lowest terms. I now have 125 over 1000. So I divide by the highest common factor of 125 and 1000. You see, if you are not sure of the highest common factor, you can divide by any factor that you're thinking of, and continue dividing until it has been reduced to the lowest terms. But right here I'm going to divide by 125 over 125, because if I divide 125 into 125, I get 1, and if I divide 1000 by 125, then I'm gonna get 8. So my answer is gonna come out as 1 over 8, and that's the solution to part B. That is now the fraction from the decimal. Right guys, let's go on to part C, the last one, 13.35. With 13.35, you see, what you can do is, you see this 13 part, the whole number part of the decimal, of this decimal, you may first ignore it. Yeah, I think that will be okay, so that we are only left with the decimal part, which is 0.35, and convert 0.35 first to a fraction. So because here you see that we're going to be coming out with a mixed fraction, so 0.35, obviously you have to multiply that by 100 over 100, so that it becomes a whole number, right? So we'll be having, in this case, 35 over 100, right? And we can reduce 35 over 100 to its lowest terms by dividing by 5 over 5. So if we divide 5 into 35, then what are we going to get? We're going to be getting, in this case, we're going to be getting 7. And if we divide 100 by 5, then we're going to be getting, that's 20, right? So what we're going to get right here is actually 7 over 20. But now for 13.35, we are now saying that since we now have 13 here, so that's the whole number, it's now 13, and the 0.35 decimal is now our 7 over 20. So this becomes the solution for this problem right here. Our answer will come out as 13 and 7 over 20.